Let's just switch briefly to Manchester City. What did you make of the row that between Tevez and Mancini this week? That, well, I know it wasn't this week, but it broke this week.
I mean, I can't quote what he said to him, obviously, but it wasn't particularly polite. That Mancini said to Tevez, they'd come into the dressing room half-time Newcastle game. They were very flat the first half. Tevez felt that they weren't playing, attacking enough, they weren't going for the throat, and then Mancini told him in no uncertain terms where to put his opinion, and the two of them squared up and had to be dragged apart. Now, there is a, you know, this does happen in dressing rooms. Unfortunately, we don't always find out about it, you know. But there is a simmering tension, I think, between the two. And I think, in a way, it works because they're both very fiery. You saw Tevez in the second half of that game. There was no lack of commitment at all. In fact, Tevez is the talisman who drives them on. But there's a bit of tension between the two. It's very fiery there. It's Mancini is trying to indoctrinate his own view about how they've got to play to become winners, and at the minute it's working. People say they're negative. They're not negative. What Mancini has wanted to do from the start is get them to hold on to the ball, get them to keep the ball for phases of play, and when he gets the players back he wants, like the two full-backs he's bought, like Balotelli, then he's going to play a game which really presses the opposition right from the start. Now you look at I think Manchester City have 7 clean sheets so far this season. They are a hard team to beat, and that's where you've got to start from. That's where Mourinho started from with Chelsea, and it worked. And they're playing a style of football that wins football matches. And right now, Manchester City fans just want to win football matches. Manchester City fans don't go, oh, you know, there's no flair, we haven't won 4-3. Manchester City fans, I'm telling you,
just want to win.
Are quite happy with what's happening at the minute. They're above United, they're second in the league, and they actually should be 5 points better off than they are had they not made a couple of late slips.
If you speak to people in Italy, which I did this week, after this story broke, to find out, you know, really what perhaps Mancini's like, or how he's considered over there. You know, he was considered as the coach on the pitch at Sampdoria. He's always been an absolute perfectionist in terms of the way he wants things. So he does obviously lose his rag when it goes wrong. He's incredibly pragmatic. He feels that everything he does should be the best in the people around him. So he will not be bothered by it, you know, having a clash with Tevez. He'll just drive this on the way you want. And it was very interesting. Apparently, when he made it to Fiorentina as a coach, and of course Eriksen had done well with him at Sampdoria, took him to Lazio as a player because he desperately wanted him. They won the title.
He was Eriksen's man.
He was Eriksen's man. And he was asked when he was in charge of Fiorentina, you know, what, you know, can you just give us a eulogy to Eriksen? What is it that Eriksen did for you? And Mancini turned around and said, people should ask what I did for Eriksen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way he holds himself in extreme high regard.
Hat-trick against Roma, for one thing.
So, you know, I just think that
but this is
not as close to it as you are, he won't care, will he?
This is another thing about control.
The under his belt.
He didn't move his family over until the summer. He didn't commit himself to anything until the summer because he told them in the summer, it's my way. It's got to be my way, my players, everything. And the difference with Manchester City to a Liverpool situation, Manchester United always different because Alex Ferguson is, he has their backing, right? He has their backing financially, and if he says, this bloke's a plonker, I want him out, they say, all right.
And they'll sell him for less than they bought him.
Obviously, you know, Mark Hughes wasn't their man, was treated disgracefully, but now the position they're in, they've said to this guy, do what you want. You know, he said, I want to build this big hill at the training ground, get it built. The bulldozers are in the next day. They are doing everything Mancini's way.
But I mean,
and a lot of the players are struggling to come to terms with it, with what he's doing, because there's so many big names, there's so many big egos there. But he's stamping his authority on that club.
Yeah. Okay. Paddy, very quick last word if you want one.
Well, I was just saying, I thought it was a good news story. I thought it was terrific. It showed the old phrase, creative tension. What a great the heart and the head of Manchester City colliding, and that's what a dressing room should be.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with that. Okay, let's move.